I think let me tell you. Yesterday, I had a conversation um with this Musiso, and he has a book on men and manhood. And I was
Interesting.
so excited. I'm like, what's happening tomorrow?
Your
Sifungo Sethu.
algorithms.
Yes, like I'm just like, oh, something is aligning here. That
Mhm.
has to do with the man from being a boy all the way until. So I was really excited about going from that one to coming into this one. So just as an intro, about you as Phumela and Sifungo Sethu, can you please just let us know who we are conversing with today and what Sifungo Sethu is about?
Ah, whew. Once I start talking, I might never stop. What
It's
Sifungo Sethu
okay.
is about. Sifungo Sethu was started in 2018, right?
Mhm.
It, I think you had mentioned also in one of your previous videos, Witty, we are about the boy child
Mm.
because we realized, Uba, we have a boy crisis, you know? We have all these things that are aimed at empowering the girl child, and none of them are meant for boys. And I remember having one of the guys ask me, Uguti, are we only meant to go to prison? Because in our neighborhood, we had a lot of these programs where schools and the general community was taking boys into prison to say, if you go the wrong route, this is where you'll end up. So his question was like, is this all they see as, you know? Because we know that more often than not, before a boy child is seen as a human being, he's seen as a problem to be solved. Because I mean, if you walk across the street, if you go anywhere and you see a man or a boy coming in your direction, what's your first thought? I'm gonna get
Am I
mugged.
safe? Like,
Exactly. You know,
you?
am I safe? Am I
Mm.
gonna get mugged? Am I gonna
Mm.
get raped? Is he gonna do something to me?
Mm.
And you know, so you see a problem before you see a human being. So that was our thing, you know, with Tino Man. We need to do something for the boy child. Even though initially when we started, it was meant just to do vision boards. We didn't even have a name. We were like, let's vision board. And let's vision board
Mm.
and focus on the boys. Let's help them map out their futures, you know, and then we'll take it from there. So, and that's how Sifungo Sethu then grew. Then from vision boarding, we started having sessions where we would now have financial literacy. We would call different experts to talk about different topics because now we realize Wuti also there's a lot of information that's lacking. There's a lot of information that doesn't trickle down to people, not necessarily just the boy child, but our focus was on the boy child. And we realized, Wuti, let's try and get as many people as on board so that we all share information, we all learn from each other. And yeah, that's how Sifungo Sethu grew. We will get people to come in like industry experts, and
Mm.
it will be male industry experts that we call. Not to say there aren't ladies, there's plenty of ladies, you know, but
Mm.
there's a certain rapport when men speak to each other and when men speak amongst themselves
Mm.
that we would like
Mm.
to have. And we would also want to create a safe space where the boys bangabodla, so to say, where
Mm.
with another man, whatever issue is, where else, yes, ladies will have similar experiences, but it will never ever be the same as the men. So we will get mentors as well because they have figuratively and literally walked the path of the boy child. They know what it is to try and find your feet as a man in society. And this is what Sifungo Sethu also does to help you find your feet, to sort of help you find a role that you play as a man in 2025, because it's no longer the same as way back when we were growing up, because we had like set rules what a man must do, what a boy child must do. And now those rules are changing. A lot of ladies are doing it
Mm.
for themselves. They're like, what do I need you for? What are you going to be
Actually,
learning?
yes.
I mean, I stay in a gated community, there's security there, so I don't need you, but it's
Mm.
I make my own money. I don't need you to provide for me. I can fix things around the house or simply just call a
Mm.
handyman. So what do I need you as a man for? So
Mm.
it's just been, yeah, one of those things.
Well, that's wonderful. Have you found that maybe I don't know how much of it, especially with dealing with a boy child, I think it tends to show up with maybe grown men. But have you found a hint of them as boys losing a sense of their identity because they're feeling, Mara, even when I grow up, I'm actually not going to be needed. Like women right now, or just society, the way they find us to be dangerous, or but it's just I would think that it makes me worry that when a boy child is seeing how not so needed their brothers and their uncles or fathers or other men in society tend to look like, sort of, that they would also worry, hore, as I grow, Mara, what's then going to be my purpose? Have you seen a hint of that in them
I've
as
seen
kids?
it. I've seen it. I've also seen it in the older gens as well. And
Mm,
I think the main reason is solely how we bring the boy child up.
mm,
It's solely based on from about 0 to 12, we still have influence on the kids, right?
mm,
Like a lot of teachings are at home. From 12, now you are dealing with the streets because the teachings are in the streets.
mm,
And what society has done, I'm not expert, guys, opinion.
yeah.
What we then do is, more often than not, we leave the boy child to figure things out on him by themselves.
Mm,
So 0 to 18, um whatever he does, there's no accountability. Miyeke umfana abafana baso vele. Where
mm,
else with girls we're different. We lazy parents, boy child, for a lack of a better term. I think our parenting is lazy when it comes to boy children. For some reason, feel like we don't need to put as much effort because umfana, he'll
oh
figure himself
yeah.
out.
Mm,
How is he figuring himself out? Who is
mm,
teaching him how to be? No one, because abafana vele dangerous, man. Bathanda ukugibela iy'hlahla, they jump fence.
mm,
We're not teaching him accountability
mm,
to begin to whatever action he does on fine. And then from 18 and above, because now he's a man, society has taught us, which now you need to get married, right? And
mm.
then when you're married, your wife must cater to your needs. At what point are you accountable as a man? You're never really accountable, right?
Ooh.
So you get away with things scot free because society lets you get away with things. It hasn't taught you accountability. And then
Mm,
the only thing what society has then taught us, and this is also done by men, is you're not really a human being. You're a resource. The resource for my
mm,
finances. If I need food, if I need clothing, if I need shelter, you the go-to person because you have become a resource. We've treated boys as men, as commodities. So that's one thing we need to find a way to unlearn, both as men and women. So imagine your whole life, no one has really catered to you, no one has really paid attention because you're a boy child. You don't need as much attention. Can you see how we fuss over girl children? We need
mm,
to know where they are at all times. We
mhm,
teach them a skill. Cooking is a skill. Cleaning and thinking, we're teaching them a skill that they can take care of themselves. We don't teach the same to the boy child because it's a girl's duty. We've given the chores genders. Where else he also needs to know how to take care of himself when life happens. He needs to learn how to cook just as much as the girl child needs to cook. I'm not saying he must never be cooked for, but I'm just saying what he needs that skill. Should he then go out and stay on his own? Should he be married? Something happens to the wife, he needs to be able to cater for himself. But he's so used to being catered for. He becomes a problem. So we teach girl children how to cook. We teach girl children how to now we insist with no, now you need to make your own money, you must go to school because we're not saying the same for boy children. And the stats show which we have less and less, I don't want to say boys, we have less and less gents
mm.
registering in tertiary. Less and less of them are empowering themselves. And it's not just like a South African thing, because I read a book called The Boy Crisis. It's
Okay.
based on a study that's happening in America where boys are demotivated. They don't feel a need to study, to further their studies, to empower themselves because they're like, what's the point?
Mm,
Which then
yeah.
also leads to us having a higher suicidal rate
Yes.
as compared to women because
Yeah.
they demotivated because how we as society are treating them.
Mm. That's such a sad thing, man. That's devaluing them from a young age all the way to being an adult and just being like you're not of value as much. and then this is as a child, and then when you become an adult, but you need to be the best of it. You need to have the most money. You need to
How?
have
When
the
there's no
best.
one who's actually taught you. No one has taught you
It's
the how.
sad. That's not, you know,
It's
one
sad.
thing that, Scott, sorry to cut you there. One thing that we were talking about as well in the conversation was the extreme side of things is also a problem. So saying that we're focused solely on men or boys as that's it is a problem. But coming back and saying that we're completely worried about take a girl child to work day, the safety of a girl child, even when it comes to like rape and molestation or whatever, it's not really a long conversation about what's that person doing with my son or with that boy? Like, is he actually safe? Whereas when there's a girl that is speaking to someone, you quickly get the hint, oh, this is not safe, but it's not the same thing, right? Um,
You're more protective of the girl child than the boy.
yes. And so your
And
instincts focus on the girl child, and but the boy is a child himself as well that needs as much nurturing. But the extreme focus on women and girls as well is also a problem when we actually need to be balancing each other out because we're surviving together. And something that used to worry me a lot as well when we're speaking about seeing a man when you're on the street and worrying about are you safe or ganjan is how the relationship between boys and moms is such a beautiful thing at the young age. And what do we do wrong as a society that gets to a point where when he's an adult, he's now too dangerous to be around? I'm like, but like as kids, they're so protective of their moms. Like, what goes wrong when it gets to
it's,
that point?
you know what happens, right? Because obviously it's not all boys. Is
Yes, yes.
a lot of households, unfortunately, are single parented households, right? And which then leads to a lack of a father figure. And now
Mm.
we've glamorized single parenthood so much,
Mm.
but we're not talking about that today, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because now the problem is, I, as a single mom, sometimes because I'm the parent who stayed, because the other party has decided with Tiana, he's not about
Yeah.
parenting and he's gone. Now
Mm.
I'm the parent that has decided to stay,
Mm.
right? We become toxic as well. And we think staying and being present excuse us being toxic to our kids, especially the boy child.
Mm.
You know, so we think toxicity is excused by the fact that I clothe you, I feed you, and I'm giving you shelter. Our love language becomes those things, you know. My
Ooh.
love is I fed you, I've given you food, I pay your school fees. What more do you want from me?
We
Because
were
also,
transactional.
and I'm the parent.
Mm.
Also bear in mind, Uguti, boy children need affection as much as the girl child. They need to be told they
Mm.
are loved. A friend wrote to Witty, girls look for their fathers in the wallets of men, and then the boys look for their mothers between the thighs of women because they
Mm.
never received love from us. And this then turns them into dangerous people. I was actually saying to someone,
Mm.
have you realized when we watch movies, I'm a serial killers, all have mother issues.
These documentaries, these Jeffrey Dahmers,
I'm not excusing it, but
yes,
have you realized the most dangerous of
yeah.
the people have mother issues?
Mm. It's
Because
that
why?
affection part skipped.
Because I stayed, that should be enough. And then I become so toxic. And I think the father's absence excuses my toxicity. It does not. I still need to
Mm.
show up and fully love my child out loud as the boy child. But then again, how am I going to love him when society has taught us, would say, boys must fend for themselves, boys figure themselves out. I abafana. More often than not, we don't pay attention to them.
Mm.
So even I won't see anything wrong. I'm not doing it on purpose,
Mm.
because it's
Mm.
the norm and I don't see anything wrong with it. So fine, it should be okay. He'll grow up, man. He'll be fine. He'll sort himself out.
Mm.
That's what happens a lot because we think men are these hard boards. They don't have feelings.
Mm.
So we throw anything and everything at them and we expect them to be okay with it,
That's
which
tough.
is not.
Yeah. So, speaking from that, what would you think, um, why would you think mental health awareness then is important, especially coming from that perspective of understanding how important it is to care for the boy child?
It's extremely important because one, you need to look after self and mental strength. Sometimes, as a friend said, is these English words, put them into isintu. Mental strength is what strength konje ngesintu? Amandla wengqondo. Amandla
I'm
wengqondo.
thinking, I'm thinking matla, mara matla.
Yeah, and that's what strength is, though. And can you hear how
Yeah,
different it sounds?
yeah,
Amandla wengqondo than simply saying mental strength. Than simply saying it in
yes,
English. So now when
yeah.
you put it in a Sintu and you say Amandla wengqondo, and to have Amandla, what do you need to do? You need to exercise. You need to put in the work to build
Mm,
that strength, right? So mental health is extremely important because as we've been saying with you, men face a lot of challenges. I don't think we've even touched on the surface of the challenges that they come across, you know?
yeah, no.
And now, how do you deal with this and still be okay and still be a functioning human being who shows up for the people that are treating you as resources? Because that means that
Mm,
takes a lot out of you. If people are simply treating you as a commodity, you would see, I can only be with Usbatli because Usbatli does ABC. If I'm not,
mm,
Usbatli will no longer have a house. Or Usbatli knows whoever, so Usbatli is going to be my link to whoever, you know? Because that's what happens.
mm,
Treating each other as commodities.
mm.
So mental health is so important is to safeguard yourself when such things happen, to be able to handle it without mentally breaking down and going into a deep dark corner, because that can push you to it, because you would
Yeah.
feel like no one really cares for me, I'm just a resource for my, so what's the point? Let's
Mm,
see what happens when I cut off the resource, which is unaliving myself in some cases.
mm, mm.
So yeah.
Oh gosh, I think I like that putting mental strength, and I think maybe anything else, and removing it from English to Isintu,
it
and
makes it it makes a difference.
it makes it so much more different, and it has a lot more depth and impact, and I think we were speaking about this the last time when you spoke about how we are diluting like really important tough words like saying unaliving yourself and things like that, and now moving it from English into, and in fact in any language that's apart from English, even if you put it into Afrikaans, it's going to have a bit more than that's, yeah, that's really helpful. Oh, okay. And then what would you think are helpful routines for the boy child to help work on their mental health before we get into what works for you? But what generally is like a really great routine that they can step into that is good for their mental health?
It's gonna sound cliche because everyone
Mm,
says it all the time. And the reason I'm also gonna say it is it's because there's some truth in it. Your environment matters. Yes, you might have it,
mm,
but the people that you hang around with do make a difference. What
mm,
you choose to consume makes a difference. It's the rituals that you do. And by rituals, I'm not meaning throwing bones and rituals, like I would tell my kids, are things that you do on a daily, on a regular. And you are able to see those rituals in your bank statement. If umuntu uthanda ukruvayo, we can see with Alo, their ritual is unkruvo, you know. If you're
oh
spending your night
yes.
with my Virgin Active, whatever, those things, those are actually your rituals. Because why do you do a
Mm,
ritual? You're doing it hoping that something will come out of it, right?
mm,
So, just like your algorithms, life is exactly just like that. Just like your social media, man. Who you hang out around with and your thoughts. Because, I mean, we've seen with how I'll speak to Usbatli. I've never met Usbatli. And suddenly
mm,
Usbatli is showing up on people you may know on Facebook. How?
Oh yeah.
Njani
Rani.
when, you know? So what you choose to consume is what will then appear on your. So if you choose a certain crowd, bazokwazi ukuthi wena every Friday you are the one who's being called in for gigs and whatnot, you know.
Oh
And those are the
yeah.
things that will appear on your social media. And these are things people will suddenly just call you up on out of the blue. But
Mm-hmm.
if you choose to consume mawakha lamandla wengqondo,
Mm.
if you choose to consume certain people that you want to follow on your social media, that's what will happen. I know everyone is like, yeah, social media, like everything else, everything has pros and cons. Social media
Yes.
also is about how you choose to use it, right?
Yes.
It's who you choose to follow, is the kind of content that you choose to follow. That will
Mm.
then um uplift you, inspire you, or that
Mm-hmm.
will leave you feeling so depressed, you know, feeling
Mm.
so drained. So the same thing, you apply the very same thing in your social life. You hang around with people who are trying to grow. Doesn't necessarily have to be your peers. Look for someone out there that you aspire to be. Ask them if they can be your mentor, or just spend some time in the
Mm.
afternoon. Best thing to do is offer them some sort of help. Don't always be the one
Yes.
asking for help. Then, because
Yes.
now you're bringing more value and you're learning, and they can see what's okay. Ntwana grind is willing, Nami, let me take them under my wings, sort of situation. And then you see what's okay, this is how your money is living, you know? And then you start applying those certain things. And then you get exposed to different circle, to different people who think differently from what you think. Because also the other thing about staying with the same people over and over, you guys have the same mentality. So you need someone who thinks different from your regular crowd, someone who's going to show you a different perspective to things, right? Not saying abandon your old friends. I mean,
Mm.
you just need
Mm.
to bring each other along, you know, just keep the pattern going.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
would suggest with the boy children, look at the circle that you hang out with. Is it something that in 10 years down the line you're going to be happy? Are these the people you know you're going to grow with? Because we know each other, you know the weaknesses, you know how your friend shows
Mm.
up. We don't know what tomorrow has in store for us, yes. But currently, what are they doing? What kind of conversations are you
Mm.
guys having? Is it always is that the only conversation you guys ever have? And how you're gonna grow?
Mm.
Unless you're going into the entertainment, yeah, I don't know, but still. You know, you need
Mm.
to know more. If you decide to go into entertainment, have conversation, yes, but now how do I make money from that aspect? You know, the business side of
Yes.
that, what is it?
Yes.
Somebody in the crowd must be able to say something with regards to that.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that
I love
that
what you're
I would say
saying.
is
Yeah. Oh, sorry there. I was saying that I love what you're saying in terms of the mentorship part. That it's really important to have somebody that's already far ahead of you, um, in your corner. But also just going up to someone and saying, "Can you please be my mentor?" is not is not the best. In fact, exactly that. Just going and offering help to someone. I think generally as mentors, that's how you end up becoming a mentor. You don't even realize that that's what you end up doing.
yeah.
But the person that keeps
Because I
on
mean, how
showing
many,
up,
and like think about it, how many people are coming to Spike, hey, can you please help me with this? Can you please help me with this? And then when
mm,
they like,
mm,
it's like, yazi ngihwetmani, ngibonile the other day, upaki imoto kuphi kuphi, and ngihlala ngibona maybe can I wash your car each time you go
mm,
to a meeting kuphi kuphi? So, you know, and then you're adding value and you're coming with something different. You're not
mm,
coming and just asking for help. And then
yes,
you ask and you take it a step further the next time that you're with him. I would see,
mm-hmm,
this. Maybe I know someone who can hook you up, you know, wara. And then you say,
mm,
I was actually looking into going into this, and I know what you come with a solution. You're adding value to that relationship that you're gonna have,
mm,
that you're building now,
mm,
instead of just saying, eh, mentor. How many people are coming and
yes,
saying that?
yes. And
How
it's just
many?
like, so where do I start with you? What do you like? What do you want? How do we, what do
Because
we do
now, so
from there?
I must spoon feed you
Yeah, I must be able to.
everything. Come with
So now, yes, in fact, when if you agree as a mentor, someone saying, can you please be my mentor? you already feel the thing. You would see if this person tomorrow says "Angidlanga namhlanje," you're gonna be like, "Yo, konje, it's my problem. Would see you haven't eaten. Yo, I wasn't able to submit in your school.
Then you need to set
Yo,
clear, this is okay, mentor and mentee relationship is something else. Because then you need to set clear
mm,
boundaries. Because
mm,
more often than not, no, they become dependent on you as the mentor,
yeah,
and it becomes draining. Because remember, you're taking time out of your other schedule to mentor this person, and that's
yes,
emotional, that's mental.
yeah.
And now this person financially as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is
It's
what
an
I signed up
investment.
for.
It's
Who?
it, so that's why you need to bring value to the person that you're asking for mentorship from, so that they find that there's value in me mentoring this person, and that there's
I'm not
yeah
giving
there's
your
value in
money
this
though.
mentorship. It's going to do something, because otherwise
There needs to be clear boundaries though.
mm,
And then how it develops from there, yeah, it'll be between the two, how they gel, how they connect. If
what
I, as the
happens from
mentor,
there?
I see it, no, man, this is a promising young man. I'm willing to go the extra mile. I'm willing to maybe pay his school fees or something. But that is something that will develop over time. It can't be something that happens from the word go. Because also remember, not everyone is a great mentor. Not everyone is. There are some mentors, you'll end up being still boy, ice boy forever.
Mm.
Because now
Mm.
they glad which they having someone they can send around and do errands for them. And there's
Oh
no,
yes,
because also the biggest thing about, for me, I think the biggest thing for mentorship is the skills transfer, is the knowledge
yeah.
transfer. So us, there's nothing wrong with you doing errands
Mm.
because you get to know, but if it's all that you're doing as the mentee, then there's a problem.
Then there's an
If I'm
issue.
not learning
Yeah,
anything, if I'm not doing other
there
things,
should
all
be a
I'm,
goal around it.
there should be.
Mm. All
And I guess it
right.
will also depend on how you present yourself.
Oh yes. Okay, now I hear you. So going into the routines then that are good for your mental health. What are your favorites? What are your
Favorites,
favorites? Weekly, daily,
definitely
monthly?
daily meditation. Not that I do it daily, but the
Oh,
aim is to do
often.
it daily. The
Okay.
aim is to do it, yes, daily. Just, and what's overrated, and I know everyone says this, and I'm also going to say that, is breathing. Just taking that deep breath,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
very important, because then it also gives you perspective. You get to know, man, actually, it's not a bad life. I just had a bad few hours,
Ooh.
you know? So you need to,
Yes.
being still, you need to center yourself on a daily. Find a way to just center yourself. One, you prepare yourself for the day ahead because we know it gets hectic and we never know what the day will pan out, how the
Mm-hmm.
day will pan out. And but if you are centered, it's easier to deal with things. You're not as easily irritable as you
Mm-hmm.
would be. And then at the end of the day, reflection as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, did I manage to do your to-do list? The biggest for me as well is making a list and preparing. Because I find that I then end up becoming overwhelmed, and I start having anxiety attacks. What am I doing everything right on time? Because I'm doing everything at the last minute
Oh
and I'm
yes.
likely to miss stuff. So
Yes.
writing and ticking off which, okay, this is done. Also
Mm.
gives me a sense of accomplishment
Yes.
once I'm able to take. I'm like, oh, okay. Listen, it could simply be something as send WhatsApp text to Sibahle.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I've ticked it off, it's a big whoo for
Mm-hmm.
me, because if I don't, I'm going to be like, oh, Sibahle, SMS, this and this and this and this and that. And then I'm all over the place, unnecessarily so.
Yeah.
So just to Wusa, write everything down. And monthly, I enjoy hikes. Each time I feel like I'm gonna die, like reaching 1 kilometer is a big thing for me. But I still keep doing it. I still keep going on hikes because it's so nice to be in nature, the purest place you can ever be, and just once again breathe.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
recentering actually. Hikes are so. Woo! The last one I went on to, and when you get to the top
mm,
before coming back down, and it's like I just need to breathe here. I actually don't even want to have conversations. I just want to stand here and be in my space with
yeah,
you. The oxygen is different up there. The oh gosh, those are so important. Those are so. I feel like hikes are a great restart
they are, they
to
are.
to. In
They
fact,
are.
as a monthly. In fact, as a monthly thing, it's a great restart to your month starting over again. That's a lovely one. Okay,
I
so
think the
you
last one
mentioned
I did was
okay.
10 Ks. I almost died within the first kilometer, but you know how you keep going? You
Yeah,
keep going nonetheless. I think that's just like life. You feel like, hey, I can't do this anymore. And there are
actually.
times where you're looking for an escape route, you want to cut it short, you're like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But the sense of accomplishment when you're done with the whole 10K and you've reached
Mm.
the mountain and you can see that beautiful view, it's, yeah, so hikes, definitely it. By the way, hikes is something that we also do with the guys, with the boys, where we
Oh,
go on hikes and then we have these conversations there because, like I said, what better place than in the purest environment than in nature to have
yes, yes.
conversations that we don't have on a regular basis and to be outside of your normal environment.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That is one. What have you found a lot of the boys like adding to their rituals? That you, when you just, whether they realize it or not, but you are realizing, oh, but this actually works for them. Naturally, that they just start adding to their own.
I'm trying to think of one is
Do you think sports
don't
is one of
really
those things?
what sports.
Sports, yeah.
Oh, soccer, definitely. They're all soccer crazy, and you know, as not just to watch it, but to play, to be part,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
participate. You know what it is? I'm maybe off ramping and not really answering you,
Mm-hmm.
but what I've noted with the sessions that we've had, they just really want to be seen.
Oh, mm,
They just really want to be
mm,
seen and heard.
mm,
Because each session I've had, and I've had these in different places. I've had one in Katora Sekasi, I've had one in Maboneng, we've had one in the CBT, and like I'm saying, we then go on hikes, you know.
mm,
So it's different boys from different walks of life. Most of them, like we had spoken the first time we spoke, I was like, when I had the vision boards,
mm-hmm.
we had the boys coming to me and saying, this is something we didn't know we needed. This
Yes,
is
yes.
something we didn't know we needed, you know?
Mm,
And then when you have the other sessions is as masingathola nje umuntu ongasimamela asincede ngale idea yethu. I get that quite
mm,
a lot. Someone just to listen. It could be, you could think it's a very silly idea,
mm,
but they just really, really, really want someone to listen to them and
mm,
someone guide them. Because like asazi ukuthi soya kuphi sikhalele bani because isikhalele lana la elokishini is the same thing. Abazali will dump their young kids with us. There were these young boys who had opened a soccer club, young gents, I think in their early 20s, right?
mm-hmm.
Soccer club for 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds. So the biggest issue they had was now parents sort of use this as a dumping, I don't want to say dumping sites,
But for lack of
but
a better word.
lack of a better word, you know, they leave
Yeah.
their kids to, no, go soccer. And then comes maybe a
Mm,
tournament of sorts, and then these young gents have to run around, like 10 randi to sponsor
mm,
the kids. The parents don't have a attendant. They're not willing to pay the 10 rands. So
mm,
now the time that they should be investing in actually playing soccer with the young ones is spent or rather wasted going house to house asking for donations of 10 rand.
mm,
And they say, well, we don't know because Nati is still trying to figure our way out. And then we have these little
mm,
ones who are left for us to tend to. And asazi ukuthi sizoba directors thini because nathi zamajita sisasokola safuna umuntu ozosizwa asimamele.
mm,
And
mm.
the last one, when I was on the hike, I think the biggest I took from there was it goes back to being seen and being heard.
Yeah.
With as young boys, elokishini, singabantu with feelings, with ideas, with dreams and aspirations,
Mm-hmm.
and would like someone to acknowledge and show us and point us in the right direction. Because we have people who come, all sorts of people will come, motivation speakers, they will come, they will talk at us,
Ooh,
but not necessarily have conversations with us,
mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, bayahamba and no one comes. So we need to have sustainable programs where these
Oh, yeah.
young men can come over and over and figure out how. Because most people will tell you, uh, I used to sleep esofeni ekaya and now I'm a millionaire. But where's the house? Or how did you
The
make the money?
process. Yeah.
The in between, because a lot of people are
Yeah.
stuck in the in
Yeah.
between. You know,
Yes.
they in between going to make it and not. So this is, yeah, one of the things that a lot of them are struggling with, the in between. Yes, I understand the poverty. Yes, we've all been
Mm,
there. We know the poverty. But
mm.
now we're not trying to shoot straight to the millionaire part. We're trying to get the how. We just need guidance on the next steps to take and how to take
Mm,
those steps.
mm.
So that's the one of the common threads that I find when I have these conversations with them.
That's such a
I would
sad
say,
thing because that process of a time is the time where the unaliving happens. That's the time when it happens because it's not that I actually I'm refusing that things can't get better from where I am right now. It's just that I'm stuck in the middle of the process, and all
and
I
I
hear
know
from
it'll take
everyone,
time.
yes, but all I hear from the people that I'm thinking I can look up to is one day they were here and then the next day they were all the way that side. And then that means I'm the only one going through the mental struggles that are happening right
And
now.
you're
I'm the
throwing
only
all
one.
these posts at me. It'll get better.
Yes.
It will be.
And it's yeah, okay. I'm hearing the sustainable programs. It's a difficult one to do, but it's such a necessary one, man. Especially if you have the capacity as a person and you're able to find other people that have the capacity as well and have something to offer. What are you thinking? You're
And more than
processing.
anything, is maybe also enable them to be able to do it themselves.
Oh, yes,
Also,
okay.
I think that's the biggest thing where we have these things and you empower them with it, they are able to do it when you no longer can, because you know how life happens and you've
Mm,
got when you
mm,
no longer can, they are able to work independently and have those for themselves because you've shown and you've shared the how.
mm, okay. All right. So, next one. um, how do you think your average person can help a stranger that is struggling with their mental health? So, we're not speaking about professionals, but during the process, because when you're still struggling, and I think speaking of the boys at the moment, they're just only interacting with each other right at that time. We're not at a point yet where you're saying, I'm going to go find a professional. Maybe you still need convincing to go into it, or you want to, you just not, or the kind of public sector, you go there, you make an appointment for your psychologist, and you get an appointment for 2 months from now, things like that. But just generally, in the meantime, as your average person, how would you think the conversations should better go? Trying to help somebody else that you're seeing, this one is really struggling.
Um, Average person is let's educate ourselves
Mm.
because the thing about depression, actually, if someone wrote this, Uvusingani wrote Witty, it has AIDS-like symptoms, right? The reason he compared it to AIDS was you don't know what it is, gahle gahle. Because
Okay.
remember with AIDS, there's pneumonia, there's HIV, there's
Yes.
sorts of. So now the depression is there's the anxiety, there's all these other things that are underlying and they're not really figured out. So it's important that we educate ourselves.
Mm.
And now, fortunately, everything is on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I know I no longer Google things. I TikTok information
Yeah.
now. you
Yes.
know? So, I mean, now we've got Smartly Wellness. It's got a
Mm.
whole lot of pointers. You simply go to TikTok.
Mm.
Smartly Wellness has signs that you can look out for. And on top of education or educating ourselves is we need to create safe spaces for our friends, safe spaces for
Mm.
ourselves as well,
Mm.
where it's completely non-judgmental, where
Mm.
you go and sometimes we talk because we're nervous and we don't know what to say. We
Mm.
need to be okay with not having to say anything. You simply just sit with the person because your presence can make a huge difference. You just sit with them,
Yes.
be it you are there and reading your own book, but they just know that you're there. You can be doing your own thing and you're there, and then you're like, slightly my guy, I'm here for you. Those
Mm.
friends or whatever. Ngla, uzongithola la, busy
Yeah.
on the laptop. I'm not going anywhere.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
if you've got that extra money or whatever, you can buy these nice cute little care packs. This is just being extra, yeah,
Yes. Yes.
buy like a cute little care pack, like a gesture with whatever you're going through. I hope you well, but here's a thing to to boost you, be it something that they like, a book that they can read so that they can distract. Invite them on a hike. You
Mm,
know, that hey, there's a hike, and simply just walk along with them. You don't even need to ask a lot of questions. Just
mm,
take a walk, take that hike with them. It makes a huge difference. I think we complicate it, we overthink it, and we feel like we need to say, we want to fill the space with words.
mm,
Sometimes words are not necessary. All we need to do is just create a safe space and sit there without judgment, without the stigma of depression, because
mm.
in any of that, you know, and just let them be.
That goes
That's what
back to feeling seen, actually. It's just finding different ways of making sure that somebody else feels seen. Because I'm thinking about even the gifting part, it won't just be of anything, it'll be of something that the next person looking at it will be like, yo, this hurt me, man, the last time. Or they actually
oh,
put some thoughts into this thing that they got for me, knowing that I'm not okay. That's such
yeah, I
a
mean,
powerful
in
thing.
your gifting, you can hoy the pamphlets maybe from SEDEC or whatever Uspahle Wellness might
Mm,
have, you know,
mm,
if you're going through, because sometimes we're not able to speak to our friends, we're able to speak to strangers, and
mm-hmm,
we're able to just all the necessary information they
mm,
put there as part of their care pack as well, because you know, and then let them make that call themselves, yeah, when they feel ready, but constantly just let them know you are thinking about them
mm.
and just keep showing up.
And that you're not
Just
judging.
no judgments, none
Mm,
whatsoever. Just I think also it really goes to that's all we really want in life, you know, someone to just
actually.
show up for us and say, I got you. And
Mm,
so depressed or not, we really just want someone who's gonna show up and say, I got you. You don't need to say anything. I'm right here.
mm. She man, I want to meet your boys one day. It feels like such a cute environment. I'm pretty sure I'm their height, even if I'm not shorter.
Probably. No, you're shorter than them. Because they're taller than me.
Oh wow, yes. But that is such a lovely thing that you're doing, and I love your passion for it. I love your care for it. Do you think that there's a lot of spaces right now that caters to caring as much about the boy child going into men?
I feel like we have more awareness. So
Okay.
there's more and more people who are doing it. Because I saw now on Twitter, okay, we call it X now, that there was something trending about the boys being left behind or something,
All
something
right.
like that trending. Yes, some are making a joke or whatever, but I'm just glad that it's gaining traction and
Yeah.
people are acting out. And I know that now there are more and more organizations that are focusing on helping the boy child, and
Mm,
not just to say, hey, get it right, let's rehab, on actually
mm,
empowering and motivating and ensuring that they do reach their dreams. And I'm just glad that it's happening, man.
yeah.
I'm just
Something is
glad that it's
happening.
finally happening, and we're not taking away from the girl child,
Yeah.
not at all. Because also I feel like these gender wars are one of the reasons we have these
Mm,
things. We
mm,
need to put the gender side apart, wars apart. You know, there's something I wanted to say earlier. I'm off track. I'm off, well, not necessarily off topic, but it's something I wanted to say earlier when we were talking about the girl child in the story that was trending,
yeah.
right? So I don't want to take anything away from her, right? But when her story was being put up, there was another young lady, young girl, also 6 or 7, that was mentioned, same area, that was also, I don't know what these new terms are on TikTok, but you know,
Yeah.
who
Yes,
went through the
yes.
same. There
Mm.
was a young boy mentioned, 6. In all this that we've been doing, no one has ever spoken about
I
that
know
boy again.
nothing about it.
You
That
see,
is, yeah.
there was a thing. She looked within this short period of time. These are the 3 kids from Matatiela that have happened. I, I think the name was actually written. I think they wrote
Mm.
the names. Ukwe, the other young girl. I think the name starts with an A. I'm not sure. And then this young boy. The boy is 6 years old. Now in the fights for against GBV, which is very necessary because on a day-to-day basis, more women than men are being, I don't know the
Mm.
terms, the new
Mm.
terms, you know. That's our reality. We can't take
Yeah.
away from that.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
we're not taking into account is how much more it's happening to the boy child. It's happening so much more often. We're not talking about it. I was having a conversation with a lady over the weekend, and she was saying, with she teaches at a school for kids with special needs. Actually, the person at the hostel, because they need to be on the watch out how these young boys get sodomized.
Oh, shame, yeah.
Young boys get molested. But we do the typical thing where we sweep things under the carpet because it's a typical black person thing. Most drinking the under the carpet.
Mm.
And it festers, it manifests into something else.
Mm.
We have
It
a
doesn't
lot
go
of
away.
we have a lot of angry young people walking around. Do we even bother to ask why? Where does it stem from?
Mm.
It stems from all those
That's tough.
things. So I don't know. I just thought of it. It's going to yes, we were all
That's
making so
yeah.
much noise on Twitter. No one was saying anything about this young. I saw it on social media. Okay, someone did say something, but
Yeah, but not as much. Mm.
I never heard anything else with regards to that young boy. And
That
so
is
now,
really
can you imagine how
heartbreaking, man.
6 years old? So can you imagine how many more young boys
Mm.
and how that affects them and how they grow up? There's no way
Mm.
they're not going to grow up and be angry.
Mm.
No
Mm.
ways. But yeah,
Yo, yeah.
mfana mos
It
uzobadent.
also but right. It goes
Mhm.
back to that thing you would see our senses are so heightened on where the girl is and what she's doing and who she's interacting with and whatever. But there isn't the same worry about is where
Yes,
my
yes, we
boy
were talking
going.
about that when I was thinking, yeah, and also,
Yes.
Smike, the thing is, rightfully so, though. That's the thing. Our
Oh
senses
yeah.
need to be when it comes to the girl child because we know they are at any minute anything
Yes.
can happen.
Yeah.
You know, now we're as a grown adults, wherever you
Mm.
go, you know, with any minute, anything can happen to
We
you.
can't be ignorant about that.
We
Mm.
can't take away from that. But
Mm.
can we also be aware or be cautious with it also happens to boy children as well. So I
Mm.
get so frustrated when someone says, Wena ulaki unabafana. What does that
What
mean?
does that mean? I don't
I don't
have
need
to
to worry
care.
as much. And they're like, when at least you don't have to worry. Thina amantombazana come pregnant, amantombazana ayadlwengula. Do you know all the things that you worry about? It happens to the boy. Do you know how it is as a boy mom when you hear there's a young boy who's been stabbed? Because
Oof.
that could have been your child.
Oh yes.
Because boys are likely to get stabbed and killed more than thingy
Mm.
estradane. I'm
Mm.
not in any way taking away from what happens to women. I too am a victim of GBV.
Mm.
So I know the whole shebang. But also I'm saying Guti, a lot of things happen to men, to boys, estradeni, that we think when I like just because you have boy children. So it means I need to worry less because it's
Mm.
a boy.
Which
Because
shouldn't be the case.
I was so relieved to find out ukuthi I'm having a boy and not a girl. Phela intombazana uyazi kumele stress you don't stress about a boy. You don't.
It shouldn't be the
Child.
case. Mm.
It's for the mere fact ukuthi umntanakho, boy or girl, you
Mm-hmm.
need to worry just as much.
Mm-hmm.
And you just entrust ukuthi when your teachings and everything you've instilled in them, they take them with you maybe strateni and they're
Mm.
safe, be it boy or girl.
Mm.
So yeah.
Whew. Gosh, okay. Oh, now TikTok is saying we've got. Oh, it's giving me this puzzle that I need to put together because we've got 4 minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right. No, but I appreciate your time and our conversation today so much. I really do appreciate it. Um, and you see how what I was saying the last time when we spoke, we are so easy to deviate from one place to I'm seeing when I'm going back to my questions, I'm just like, wait, this is has nothing to do with what we're on now. But thank you so much for agreeing to do this and for all the information that you have given. I really believe that it's going to help somebody else that is watching out there. So it's Sifungo Sethu. How do we connect with Sifungo Sethu? And yeah.
Okay, before I go to how do we connect with Sifungo Sethu, before the
Mm-hmm.
4 minutes is up, um, as Sifungo Sethu, we have a challenge, and I would like to please plead with everyone who's watching this, anyone who sees this, is please, gents, as for the gents, please take part in the challenge. So
Mm-hmm.
our challenge is called Build a Brother. We simply just
So
want you to
that.
take a 30-second video, 30 seconds,
Okay.
a minute if you want to be long, where you are just giving a shout out to any gent in your life that has helped you in any way. It could be just a friend. You're giving a
Yes.
shout out to their great friend. You're giving a shout out to someone who's helped you, inspired you, motivated you. Build a Brother. It is on the Sifungo Sethu page. Now I'm going to answer how to get hold of Sifungo Sethu. We are on TikTok as Sifungo Sethu. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter is Sifungo Sethu.
Mm-hmm.
You can reach us there. We answer pretty quick, I think we do. So guys,
I think
please.
so too. I think so too. I found you somewhere there.
Yes, you would know. We respond pretty quick, guys.
You do.
Please take part in the challenge. Build a
Yeah.
brother, build each other up as James, just to say, hey, shout out and thanks for having my back.
Mm.
That's all we're saying.
What a
30
wonderful
seconds, not too much of
initiative.
your time.
No, it's not at all. That's such a wonderful initiative. I'm going to repost that as well then.
Please.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. There's going to be snippets that are going to be posted. Please go onto it and comment with your handles, and also just mention the Builder
We'll
Brother
do it.
Challenge again for anybody else that checks it out afterwards.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Have a
Okay.
great night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.